What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Ambu, coming back at you with part 7 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash on Wattpad, and hopefully this is going to be one of the last videos that I have without the use of my new mic, as, I'm expecting my thing to come tomorrow. So, I'm really looking forward to that, because, my setup is a little rigged, it's just not nice, you feel me? So, yeah, and, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It's much appreciated. If you want to have a conversation with me down in the comment section, I'm always down to do so. I try my damnedest, and I've been doing really well recently. I'm replying to every comment, and I like every comment. I heart every comment I see. So, just leave a comment. I will respond to you. I promise you I will see it. And, yeah, without further ado, let's get on to the story. Naruto had a hard time sleeping that night, but he could hardly be blamed. He was officially a ninja. On top of that, he would meet his new teammates tomorrow, but he had a bad feeling about that. He tried to ignore it, which was easier said than done. Than said. The feeling was easily buried beneath the excitement he was feeling. Over the years, his body had an internalized clock, which was very beneficial health-wise, but unfortunately did not allow him to sleep more than 7 hours, no matter how much he wanted to. At 5 in the morning, his eyes would snap open by themselves, his body having sufficiently rested itself and ready for the day, as was the case today, which is why he was so confused when he woke up at his regular time of 5 in the morning, not feeling any tiredness from the events of last night. While not complaining at the lack of tiredness, irritation slowly took hold of him, making him frown deeply. By all means, he should have slept till 9 in the morning. One late arrival to class wouldn't hurt him at all. No use whining about it. Best start my day with the usual, he mentally grumbled and got out of bed. Quickly finishing his morning rituals and dressing up, he took 2 bananas and gobbled them up. Pause. Okay. He figured his irritation would be gone by the end of his morning run. Inside his mind, Kurama was trying to keep his snickers from echoing in Naruto's mind. He had initially decided to let Naruto rest because of his late night, but his sense of mischief decided to manifest itself, and he had changed his decision. He let a larger amount of his chakra than usual in Naruto's body, just enough so Naruto would wake up at his usual time instead of his natural 7 hours. Stepping outside, Naruto felt the slightly chilly air of the morning. The sky was dark, but it was perfect for him. A sudden thought struck. How about I run without my resistance seals off today? Get used to the normal speed. What do you say, Kurama? Kurama gave a yawn that reverberated through Naruto's mind. He forcefully clenched his jaw to prevent his own from happening. Kurama replied, "It's a good idea. You should get used to running without seals every once in a while, Naruto. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to control your own speed. You would just speed past the place you intend to stop." Naruto nodded, agreeing with Kurama. He wondered if his father had the same problems, but pushed those thoughts aside. Best get used to it gradually, he thought. Making a ram seal, he lowered the resistance seal on his body from level 12 to 6. The change was immediate. He felt really light, like the amount of energy in his body had doubled. He started running and was surprised at his own speed. Kurama had been frighteningly accurate. He was currently running at speeds which children would call close to sprinting, and the worrying part about the whole thing, he wasn't even controlling it. At the end of this run, I will get used to it, he determinedly thought. It took him almost 5 rounds of the village to get used to it, and by the end of 5 rounds, he was comfortably running at a speed he usually ran, not having any feelings of being tired at all. I wonder if this feeling can be compared to freedom, he thought with a smile. Running without a care in the world, feeling as... Where am I? I just lost it. Feeling as if nothing is holding you back. Eventually, he decided to sprint all out, and once he started feeling tired, he would run without any resistance, getting used to the running without it. After another 1.5 lap of sprinting, he began panting and figured that the time was right to release the seal. He was just about to do it when he saw something ahead of him. He was closing in on a person wearing oh God, is that a spandex jumpsuit? He was very much grossed out by the sight and figured overtaking the person was in his best interest. Instantly releasing the seal, he shot forward once more, having not increased his pace by himself at all. He was soon running neck to neck with the kid, who was probably his own age and had a shining bowl cut hairstyle and huge eyebrows which looked more like caterpillars. Bandages wrapped up his forearms, and his hitayate wrapped around his belt. Wrapped as a belt. Sorry. He also wore orange leg warmers. The kid glanced toward him and flashed a brilliant smile of white teeth shining like metal. He spoke in a loud voice. "A very youthful morning to you. May I know who you are?" Naruto rose an eyebrow at the loud voice. Perhaps this is his normal way of speaking, he mused. Somehow a quiet voice did not suit this kid. And what is a youthful morning? Outward he said, "Good morning. It is nice to see someone else running at this time. My name is Naruto, by the way." Oh, I thought that was Rock Lee for a moment. He expected the usual frown and disgust and hate, but he did not expect the kid to react. Jesus. "My name is Rock Lee, Naruto. You seem like a very youthful person running at this speed in the early morning. You are clearly basking in the springtime of youth." Naruto stared at him as if he was speaking an entirely different language, which he probably was because he didn't understand a word of what he said. Inside his mind, Kurama had kept his eyes shut tightly. He had already scarred his mind by seeing Lee. He did not want to go insane from seeing him in motion. Sorry, I thought that was amusing. Naruto did the only thing he could without upsetting the boy. "Hey Lee, how about we talk later? I'm in a bit of a hurry." Saying that, he sprinted ahead at full speed, leaving Lee to taste his dust. He felt bad about leaving him like that because there was a chance that the boy would be his future comrade, but he wanted to get used to his mannerisms. The youth coming from Lee terrified him. Lee stared at the dust with wide eyes. Stars seemed to twinkle around. "What youth? To be faster than me with my weights off! Guy Sensei would be so surprised when he hears about this." Shouting this, he ran off in his own cloud of dust. Naruto ran full sprint until he reached his house. Climbing up the stairs, he thought about what he had observed while talking to Lee. While the bandages covered almost his whole forearm. That's how I'm going to word it, but it's not worded like that. The fingertips were exposed, and they were scratched and bruised heavily, indicating that Lee trained his ass off every day. He also sensed Lee's chakra, which was low, so low that someone would mistake him for a civilian, which probably indicated that Lee was running on pure speed without any chakra. That meant Lee was a pure taijutsu type fighter. The amount of hard work it must have taken to achieve that speed. Lee has my utmost respect for his hard work, he thought with admiration. Kurama agreed. A genius of hard work he truly is. Taking a quick shower, he dressed in his clothes from yesterday and quickly ate a cup of instant ramen, justifying it as a good day and easily ignoring Kurama's exasperated shake of his head, and adjusted his hitayate behind his left shoulder. Taking a final look in the mirror, he nodded to himself and left his apartment. Hopping on the rooftops gave him a rare sense of thrill, which not many shinobi felt because of it being unusual for them. But many shinobi did not perform tricks on the rooftops as well. The flips and every sort of cartwheel he could think of were performed with the highest level of precision. His every landing, flip, roll was perfectly executed. The people below stared at him. Some were the usual glares, while a few of them had expressions of awe. It was rare for them to see performing such tricks. That's how it's worded. It was rare for them to see performing such tricks on rooftops with such expertise. I'm just going to reword it. It's missing this one word. And when I say this one word, you're going to be blown away. It was rare for them to see someone. That's the word. Someone performing such tricks on the rooftops with such expertise. Of course, Naruto was too lost in the thrill to notice. Before long, he had reached the academy. As soon as he walked through the gates, a sense of apprehension gripped him. A familiar bad feeling from the last night gripped him again. With every step, the feeling seemed to intensify a little. He shook his head, trying to shake off the feeling. Today will go well, he assured himself. Hiruzen looked at the jonin assembled in his office. Each of them would be assigned a team of genin. He had to choose carefully who received which team. The future of Konoha had to be handled extremely carefully. He glanced at the jonin standing at the right-hand side of the end of the line. Kakashi was sort of glaring at the old Hokage. Usually he would be late to this meeting by a good 3 hours unless he was receiving a B rank mission or higher. But the Hokage had threatened to burn his Isha collection, even his hidden collection. Wow. He was going to burn all of his, you know what I'm talking about. So he was forced to attend on time, but that did not prevent him from glaring at the Hokage. Hiruzen distributed the first 6 teams and asked them to leave before turning his attention to the more important teams. Team 7 will be led by you, Kakashi, he said, giving the Jonin a nod. Team's 8 leader would be Kurenai. Since Team 9 is still in circulation under guide, Team 10 would be led by Asuma. Kakashi, stay behind. I have to talk to you. As the other Jonin left, there was a noticeable change in Kakashi's posture. The lazy look was gone from his eyes, replaced with seriousness. He stood straight with his hands behind his back and back straight, looking at the Hokage. What do you want from me, Hokage-sama? Where am I? There we go. Hiruzen's seriousness of the topic was clear in his voice. Kakashi, you have been given the most important team of them all. Wait, where am I again? Sorry. Since Sasuke Uchiha is on this team, the council will probably force you to pay more attention to him. Teach him the ways of the Sharingan and all of your jutsus. But you will not play any favorites. Is that understood? His voice was like an army commander at the end. Kakashi nodded. Hi, Hokage-sama. Here is in the motion for the Anbu to leave the room. Once the room was completely secured, he leaned forward in his desk, chin rested on his hands. He suddenly seemed to switch from a serious personality to a weary one. Kakashi, Naruto will be on this team as well. That single sentence seemed to bring out Kakashi's memories that he did not want to remember. Memories of his sensei. Memories of how he failed to protect Naruto from the villagers. I will not fail this time. You can count on me, Minato sensei, he thought with resolution. Okay, I'm going to change this word as well. He thought resolutely. That's a vocab word. Hiruzen continued in his grave tone. The council will probably tell you to ignore him as much as you can, but you will not do that to the only person who is connected to Minato, would you? Kakashi shook his head and spoke with steel in his voice. No, Hokage-sama, I am astounded that you would even think that. Hiruzen, however, was unfazed by the outburst. I had to check, Kakashi. I'm sorry for saying that. Kakashi nodded absent-mindedly. His mind had already made plans on how to deal with his new team. A thought occurred to him, and he asked Hiruzen, is there anything I should know about my team? Hiruzen leant back in his seat, taking a deep breath and blowing the smoke out. I could give you the files of your students, but observing firsthand is better. Won't you agree, Kakashi? Kakashi seemed to be in thought for a moment, and then I smiled. Perhaps this time he will be able to correct his mistakes. Entering the classroom, he saw that only half of those who had graduated were there. Eyes roaming, he spotted his friend Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, Hinata, sitting in their usual places. Shikamaru was dozing off, Choji was eating potato chips, Shino was examining his bugs, and Hinata had turned red as soon as she saw him. She began poking her index fingers together, avoiding eye contact. He also saw other kids who had graduated, playfully shoving each other, talking about everything and nothing at the same time. He was about to go to his usual seat in the back when he sensed a familiar chakra approaching. Turning to the door, his eyes narrowed. Sasuke Uchiha had entered the classroom. He looked very different from yesterday, wearing a navy blue high-collared short-sleeved shirt, white shorts with holsters tied on his right thigh. He also wore white arm warmers and a hitayate tied on his forehead. He still had his usual air of arrogance and smugness around him. His posture carried confidence. He was clouded by arrogance. His coal-black eyes roamed the classroom until they settled on him. Naruto saw some anger seep into them. Still sore about yesterday, Sasuke, he thought. Sasuke marched up to him, his hands in his pockets, implying that he had no intention of attacking Naruto. He stopped a foot away from him and looked him in the eyes with almost a burning intensity. His eyes narrowed, eyes showing that he would be keeping an eye on him from now on. Naruto narrowed his eyes in return, the cold intensity of them as cold as ice. I know where this is going. In response to Sasuke's fire, his eyes conveyed his response very clearly. Bring it on, Sasuke. I know where this is going. Oh my gosh. They were both so lost in their glaring contest that Sasuke failed to notice one of the kids stumbling towards his back. He bumped into his back, shouting a sorry before joining his friends. He did not notice the consequences of his accidental bump. You know where this is going? I know where this is going. We both know where this is going. Naruto's eyes had become as wide as saucers when Sasuke's lips crashed onto his own. You knew this was coming. He was so stunned that he just froze on the spot, as did Sasuke. Looking into each other's eyes with disbelief, he did not hear Kurama's loud belly laugh at his even more horrified at the amusement he was feeling. This feels so wrong on so many levels, he thought with no small amount of panic. Sasuke, having thought along the same lines, he didn't imagine his wildest dreams that his first kiss would be stolen by the dope. Just what did he do to deserve this? All he felt was disgust at feeling a boy's lips on his own. But the shock of the situation had frozen him in place. This was the scene that Sasuke's most devoted fangirls, Sakura and Ino, along with the other fangirls, were greeted to. They both blankly stared at them, not being able to form words. What? Naruto finally came to his senses and immediately stepped back from the spot, prompting Sasuke to do the same. Naruto rubbed his lips, slowly cleaning them off. Turning furious eyes on the dark-haired boy, he hissed, "What the hell, Kusayaro? What the hell, Kusayaro? Just what gives you the indication that I liked you? Unlike you, I happen to be an avid fan of the opposite sex." Sasuke was taken aback by Naruto's rant for a moment, but was quick to recover. His voice turned downright menacing, not that Naruto was intimidating. "It was your fault, dope," he accused, rubbing his lips furiously. Naruto was quick to snark back. "That's my line, Teme. I'm not the one who suddenly decided to step forward and kiss me." His first kiss went to Sasuke of all people. Oh, the shame. Sasuke stormed to his seat and sat down, slipping back into his daily brooding routine. Naruto silently scoffed and turned away. Just what's so great about that guy? Where am I going? There we go. Sorry, I keep losing my spot every time I scroll down. So every time you hear me, it'll be like, "Oh, where am I? Oh, where is this? Where's the line?" That's because I'm trying to scroll down so I can keep reading, but I get lost in the sauce basically. I'm sorry. I apologize. He was about to go to his regular seat when he felt it. It was not killing intent, but it felt like he had done something grievously wrong. Turning around, he almost went pale. All the girls in the class were looking like dogs ready to pounce and kill. "Baka Naruto, how dare you steal Sasuke's first kiss like that?" Sakura and Ino were quick to blame him, with the others following. Kurama was still snickering in his mind, and Naruto resisted the urge to sigh. Seeing the kunoichis take a threatening step forward, he slid his left leg back, ready to flash step out of here if necessary. He had to find a way to, "Everyone settle down!" The loud voice of Iruka Sensei was heard in the classroom, but the girls didn't seem to hear it, ganging up on Naruto, who didn't look nervous at all. Iruka saw his favorite student being ganged up on by the kunoichis and put a hand on his face in resignation. "Now what did you do, Naruto?" Feeling the need to save his little brother, he activated his big head jutsu. "Settle down, you brat!" The effect was immediate. All the girls receded so fast, they almost looked like they were teleporting. However, Naruto was immune to Iruka's jutsu for a long time, and so he calmly walked up to his usual seat, sat down, looking out the window with a bored look. Iruka looked around the room and started his attendance. Habarame Shino, here. Akimichi Choji, here. Sensei. The roll call continued, but Naruto simply wasn't paying attention since his name was last anyways. Uzumaki Naruto, right here. He waved his hands lazily. His response sounded way cooler than any of his classmates, and for this reason, it rattled Sasuke's fangirls. What? Baka, see, this is the shit, bro. Sorry, excuse my language, but this is what bugging me, bro. Sakura really was acting like this in the show, too. It's not just the author, bro. It's the show, bro. She was really bugging like this, bro. She was really tweaking like this. Oh, my gosh. She goes, "Baka." Sakura stood up and pointed an accusing finger at him. "Stop trying to act cool like Sasuke-kun." My guy literally, all he said was right here, bro. He said right here. And she was talking about some idiot. Come on, dog. Yeah. Her statement was supported by nearly all the fangirls in the room, except Hinata. Naruto, who was still looking outside, turned to face Sakura. Did you say something?" he asked in an absent-minded tone. Iruka suddenly wondered just where Naruto had met a one-eyed jonin who habitually said the same thing. One-eyed jonin? Come on, you know who this is. Starts with a K and ends with an Akashi? Kakashi? Come on. I digress. Let me find where I am again. Oh, there we go. There we go. The girls shrieked and hurled various insults at him, which were easily ignored. Iruka coughed to get his class's attention, and when he had it, he started speaking. You guys are now officially ninja of Konoha, but remember, you are simply a genin. The road from here will only be uphill now, and you will be divided into groups of 3. A Jonin sensei will be your teacher. Where are we going now? Sorry, I had to scroll down again. Right there we go. Everyone had different thoughts about this. Ino said to Sakura in a slight tone, I wonder who'll be on Sasuke's team. Sakura gave an annoyed glance to her. Who knows? However, inner Sakura shouted in her mind, Sha, I'm the one who will be on his team. Like, split personality disorder much? Come on, bro. Like, damn. I digress. Sakura thought with a small amount of irritation, a team of 3? They will only burden me and hold me back. Iruka then began announcing the teams. It took a while, but he finally announced Naruto's. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto paid close attention at that. Haruno Sakura, causing a depressed cloud to appear on top of her. I'm on a team with Naruto. Why? Naruto had a more expressive reaction. A purple cloud seemed to form over his head, and he banged his head on the table. Fuck my life, he groaned. Excuse the language, bro. It's the book, man. I promise. I'm not adding these. But I digress, and we go out right back into it. Many felt sorry for the poor bastard, despite not being his friends. No one deserves Sakura as a teammate. Yeah, because she sucks, bro. Even Kurama was whispering comforting words, such as they could kill her and bury the body. True. And Uchiha Sasuke. Iruka announced the last name. This time Sakura jumped in joy. Turning around, she flashed a superior smirk at the flabbergasted Ino, who was clenching her fist. Inner Sakura was shouting in joy, Sha, true love will always prevail. Shikamaru simply uttered, troublesome. I love Shikamaru, by the way. This is a little sidetrack note, but like, bro, listen. Shikamaru is the coolest character to me. Like, oh my gosh, Shikamaru is lit. He's a genius. If you think about it, Shikamaru was skilled, but he was so lazy he didn't train. Like, bro, how you gonna be so smart that you become skilled by not working to train? Like, oh my gosh. Like, if you think about it, like, I'm not saying he never trained, but what I'm saying is, like, he was a lazy dude, right? So he obviously wasn't training as hard as, like, Rock Lee, which Rock Lee has a legendary work ethic. But, like, he definitely wasn't training as hard as, like, I gotta think of, like, a middle ground character. I gotta think of a middle ground character. Damn, I can't think of a middle ground character. Alright, but he definitely wasn't training as hard as Sasuke, and he still ended up being really skilled. I mean, come on. Y'all remember the fight against Tamari? I'm sorry, I could talk about Shikamaru for days. I love Shikamaru. Y'all remember the fight against Tamari where he literally just quit because he was tired and ran out of chakra? Like, bro, he didn't even need to win to know that he was better. Like, think about that. She knew what was coming, but he still was able to beat her. Like, oh my gosh. She knew he was trying to get her in the shadow possession, but he still got her. Like, think about that. Oh my gosh. He's a genius, bro. Let me get back to the story. I just got off topic. Man. Alright, I'm back. Trying to divert his mind from his recent depression, Naruto listened closely for the other teams. Team 8 was Hinata, Kiba, and Shino. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that, taking into account that their special traits were not in fighting. If I'm not mistaken, this is a tracking and backup assault team? Team 10 was announced by Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. The legendary Ino Shikacho trio is being formed again. Their fathers were a legendary team themselves, after all. This team has 2 purposes that I can think of. A battle purpose and an information gathering purpose. Taking into account Ino's mind techniques, Shikamaru's binding techniques, and Choji as a heavy hitter, not bad at all, he thought with a smile, impressed with his GG's choice of members. That thought process led him to his own team. A tiny frown appeared on his forehead. Sakura doesn't possess any abilities except her high-level chakra control. Sasuke could be considered a specialist in ninjutsu due to his Sharingan, but that depends on his chakra capacity. If he is an expert in the Shuriken Jutsu, which is to be expected considering who his brother was, his Taijutsu would grow leaps too once he awakens his Sharingan. His specialty would probably be ninjutsu and fuinjutsu, followed by taijutsu and trap making. Naruto frowned, disappeared as he realized something. So that's how it is. Our team is the primary heavy assault team. That old man is really something, he smiled, shaking his head, impressed by the old Hokage. Let me go back. Sorry, I again am scrolling down looking for my spot. One more time. Do not get mad at me. Okay, please. Please don't get mad at me for this, bro. Like, I'm trying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep going. Time passed, and one by one, Jonin Sensei came to take their teams away. Team 8 Sensei was a beautiful woman named Kurenai Yui. And Team 10 Sensei was a large man who looked like a bear and held strong resemblance to Gigi. He introduced himself as Sarutobi Asuma and took his team away. Many hours passed, but there was no sign of Team 7 Sensei. Sasuke kept brooding the whole time, though he was starting to look irritated. Sakura looked close to exploding in anger. Naruto was calmly working on his new chakra suppressing seal that he could use without delay. He was also keeping his senses open just in case their sensei arrived. Almost 3 hours of wait later, Naruto sensed a Jonin level chakra signature heading their way. Sighing in relief, he sealed away his sealing supplies and got up, a revenge in mind for their tardy sensei. Walking up to the door, he made 4 hand signs and slapped his right palm on top of the door, snickering. He went back to his seat. That was a seal that he had successfully worked on Gigi. There was no reason it wouldn't work on their sensei. Sakura and Sasuke were curiously watching Naruto. When Naruto applied his seal, they realized for the first time that Naruto was the tallest member of his team. Sakura asked him, "Naruto, what was that?" in her usual tone of, "I'm your mother, Naruto." Naruto gave her a blank gaze and said something that you can't even come close to understanding, Sakura. Sakura's tempers flared, and she moved to hit him out of habit, but the door to the classroom opened, and all 3 genin watched with shock as the man who opened it got drenched from head to toe in water. Naruto smirked at that. That was a seal designed to activate when someone's chakra came in direct or indirect contact with it. He could store any element in it. Just because he was playing a prank, water was the best choice. Lightning or fire would be very painful. He turned towards the person who was most likely their Jonin sensei. Kakashi was lost in thought as he finally decided to go to the academy and collect his team. On one hand, there was Sasuke, the last member of the Uchiha clan that was still loyal to the village. Kakashi brought his hands up to the covered left eye. It was his late best friend Uchiha Obito's last gift to him before he died. We all know this. He felt a sort of obligation to his friend to train the last bearer of the Sharingan. On the other hand, there was Naruto, his sensei son, and Kakashi's only remaining tie to his late teacher. The person he had failed to protect from the village's hatred. The Sandaime had made it very clear that Kakashi has until Chunin exams to increase the number of bonds he has in the village. If he doesn't have any bonds, he may very well leave the village, and Konoha can't afford to lose its only Jinchuriki. Wait, what? Oh, I thought he was talking about Kakashi's bonds. They're talking about Naruto's bonds, sorry. Walking up to the classroom door, he was caught off guard when he was suddenly doused in water. Perplexed, he looked up, hoping to find a bucket, but saw nothing but a seal. Eyes narrowed, he looked around the classroom. Sasuke was looking at him with doubt. Is this guy really a Jonin? Sakura looked apologetic as she bowed. Sorry, Sensei. It's all Naruto's fault. I tried to stop him. Naruto was simply smirking at the Jonin. With Kurama's help, he had identified the chakra figure as that of Dog, the Anbu who sometimes used to protect him. However, Naruto's "I know something you don't" smirk definitely put Kakashi on edge. He has a face for that, bro. Like, what, bro? That's crazy. Alright, I digress. Kakashi was having his own thoughts about the 3. Upon seeing Naruto's smirk, he concluded that Naruto most likely used a seal to play the prank. Turning to Sakura, he thought Sakura tries to protect herself using excuses. Eyes turning to Sasuke, he saw the boy turn his face back towards the window. Sasuke minds his own business, doesn't seem to accept the other 2 as comrades. He sighed internally. There's not a single shred of teamwork in this team at all. Outside, he gripped his chin in a mock thinking pose and said in a lazy voice, how do I put this? My first impression of you guys, well, you're a bunch of idiots. He finished with an eye smile. He could literally see the clouds of depression over Sakura and Sasuke's head, but Naruto kept smirking in that annoying manner, not at all fazed by Kakashi's insult. He decided to move on. He said, meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. Kakashi then disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Startled by the sudden exit, Sasuke and Sakura scrambled to rush to the roof, the latter scampering after the former. So Naruto sighed. It was a good thing he didn't have to hide his skills anymore. Grabbing the edge of the window, he swung his feet onto the wall and leisurely walked up. Kakashi was, as usual, buried deep, nose deep in his I am not saying this word, I am not saying this word, buried deep in his novels. In his novel, when he felt it. Looking down curiously, he contained his surprise on seeing Naruto walk up to him. I'm not saying that word, bro. You not gonna get me to say that word on YouTube? Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I ain't saying that stuff, man. You can't talk about that stuff, man. That's crazy, man. They really put that in a book, man. I'm saying novels, that's it. I'm not saying no more. No more. He contained his surprise on seeing Naruto walk up to him. Yeah, I'm just going to move on, by the way. The boy was displaying a skill that not many people showed before graduating. Yo, Sensei, Naruto waved with a smile. Kakashi had nothing to say, so he waved back. Yo, it really made him feel like an idiot. Naruto walked past him and sat down on the steps in front of Kakashi. Just as he sat down, Sasuke and Sakura burst through the door, eyes widening when they saw Naruto had already reached ahead of them and was sitting nonchalantly. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. How did that dope reach ahead of me? Now that I think about it, I didn't see him follow me and Sakura, so how did he get here? Sakura was in a similar state of surprise, but did not think much of it. She immediately sat down beside Sasuke, hearts in her eyes. What is happening? Bro, there's like some movement in my crib. It's like, it's dead almost 2 o'clock. I did not know why there is, but I'm just going to let it happen. I don't know if you can hear that, but if you can, cool. If you can't, also cool. It's also snowing outside. It's mad cold, so yeah. I know y'all don't need to know that, but I'm not going to cut it out. I'm just going to leave it in, you know? But, yeah. Sakura was in a similar state of surprise, but did not think much of it. She immediately sat down beside Sasuke, hearts in her eyes. Kakashi closed his book with a snap and said in his ever-lazy tone, "All right, why don't you introduce yourself? You can start first, Pinkerbell." Oh, that was a good one. Sakura scowled at Pinkerbell and spoke up. "Why don't you go first and show us how it's done, Sensei?" Kakashi pointed a finger at himself. "Me? My name is Hatake Kakashi. I have many likes and dislikes. My dreams are none of your business, and you are too young to hear my hobbies." He finished and glanced at Sakura, motioning to continue. All three Genin's sweat dropped. All we learned was his name. Oh my gosh, bro, there is someone messing with the toilet in my crib. I can hear that shit. That was loud. Bro. Yo, guys, if there's a spirit in my house, I just happen never to come back, it's gonna be okay. It's a cold world out there, man. Nah, I'm messing with y'all. I think it's my brother or something. But, yeah, I should probably cut that out, but I ain't gonna cut that out because I just don't feel like it. And I told y'all, once I get this thing tomorrow, I'm gonna start improving the rest of the videos. Like right now, this is just bass. I'm screen recording right now, using the microphone on my phone. Actually, I should check if the microphone's working, because if it ain't, I'm gonna be pissed. All right, we're good. Wait, how long has this been going for? Damn, 33 minutes? Holy hell. I'm gonna read a little more. Nah, I'll finish off the chapter like I always do. Fine. Sakura began to speak. We're only halfway there. Oh my gosh, I don't think I can finish it. Actually, you know what? It's only 2 o'clock. I'll finish it. I'm taking longer just talking. All right, I'm done. I'm Haruno Sakura. She glanced at Sasuke and blushed. My hobbies are, she blushed harder. My dream is, she squealed. This team, making Naruto shake his head in disgust. Sasuke showed no reaction. Kakashi asked, dislikes? Sakura was quick to scowl. Ino, pig, and baka Naruto. Kakashi thought with a resigned sigh. I just had to get a fangirl. He motioned Sasuke to begin. You next, Emo. Sasuke scowled like Sakura at the nickname, but spoke. Uchiha Sasuke. I have very few likes and many dislikes. I have a dream, an ambition to kill a certain man and restore my clan. Sakura was looking at Sasuke with hearts in her eyes, thinking, Sasuke. Naruto was thinking, doesn't he know that to restore his clan he needs girls, and for girls he needs some personality? Kakashi had narrowed his eyes a little, as I thought. He motioned for Naruto to begin. You next, Blondie. Naruto was not at all offended at his nickname and spoke with a small smile. The name's Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and spending time with Iruka. I dislike the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to cook. My hobbies are training and experimenting with Fuinjutsu. My dream, his smile became a full-blown grin, is to become the strongest Hokage ever. Kakashi smiled slightly. His hobbies are a bit unusual, but he has certainly grown up in an interesting way. He then said, all right, all of you are unique and have your own ideals. We will start our duties tomorrow, but there's something that the four of us have to do first. The deadpan in his voice was unmistakable. Naruto tilted his head ever so slightly. What would that be, Sensei? Survival exercise. Kakashi replied seriously. But we already did enough of it in the academy, Sensei, Sakura said with a frown. Kakashi chuckled. This time is different because I'm your opponent. What's so funny? Sasuke asked, a little irritated. It's your reaction. You hear this? Of the 27 graduates, only 9 will be made genin. The rest will go back to the academy. As a matter of fact, the failure rate is over 60%, which, by the way, if you think about it, that is wrong, I think. Maybe not. 39, 18, 27, that's 1/3. So that's like 60. So 9 is 1/3, so then 2/3 would be 63.7, right? Because then you add a 33.3, that would make it 100%. So 63.7, right? 63.7, yeah. So it's 63.7. So the failure rate is over 60% is wrong. The failure rate is actually about 63, I believe. Because 1/3 is 33, 2/3 is 33. 33 plus 33 equals 66, right? But then you add the 0.3, so it's 33.3 plus 33.3, which equals 66.6. But you're supposed to round up because there's more decimals after that, which makes it 66.7. And then, or 63, no, yeah, 66.7. And you add the 33, which makes it 99 point. Because if it was 6, it would be 99.9. But that's why you round up one, because then it makes it 100. So it's 66. Yeah. Math. Quick maths. If my math's wrong, let me know. But quick maths, you know? As Kakashi predicted, everyone went wide-eyed. Sakura going as far as to gaping. Okay. Kakashi laughed and told him, told you, you freak out. Naruto then deduced with his narrow eyes. Then it's quite clear that this graduation test was just to select those who have potential to become genin, isn't it? Kakashi raised an eyebrow at Naruto. That was quite perceptive of him. Looks like you have a lot of secrets, Naruto. He easily ignored Sakura shouting at Naruto for trying to act cool like Sasuke. Anyways, meet me on Training Ground 7 tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock. Skip breakfast if you don't want to throw up. He vanished in a leaf shun. After that, for a while, none of them moved, thinking of the man's advice. Naruto got up first, walking over to the railing. Prepared to leap over, but stopped, turning around and asking his teammates, hey, you want to come and have lunch? Get to know each other since we are teammates now? Sasuke snorted in disdain and walked away. Sakura followed him like a little puppy. She followed Sasuke's lead and shouted, yeah, right, like anyone would want to eat with you, loser. She then engaged in her daily habits of something. I can't see it. Of asking Sasuke for a date. Bro, how sad can one possibly be? Cuz Kurama was smirking. She's one to talk about weak. Naruto simply replied, it's not worth wasting our thoughts like that, Kurama. Besides, at least I tried. It's always the thought that counts. He leaped over the railing and sprinted to his usual training ground to do his training for the day. Perhaps he could even find Anko and persuade her to spar with him. Naruto laid on his bed, hands tucked. Wait. Is this a stopping point? I'm debating. Because it's 1:55 and we've been going for 39 minutes. And I'm like 3/5 of the way there. I'm doing math in my head. So 3, 10. So it'll take like another 20 minutes to finish this. Why not? I'll finish it for you guys, you know? I'll finish it for you. Yeah. Naruto laid on his bed, hands tucked behind his bed, eyes up at the ceiling. Anko was tough as usual, And she was even kind enough to let him know that he had some openings in his fight, but that he meant she used those openings to leave nice big bruises. He was not worried about that though, because he had already closed the openings. Right now, he was mentally conversing with Kurama. How much do I let loose tomorrow, Kurama? The Hiraishin is not an option. That's the Flying Thunder God. Oh, snap. I did not notice that was that. That's the Flying Thunder God, by the way. Somebody asked me about that. Yes, he does have the Flying Thunder God, but yeah. The Hiraishin is not an option. That will only be revealed in the Chunin exams and not before. So we're not going to use the Flying Thunder God until the Chunin exams. Okay. Something mentally to note there. You feel me? You can reveal 3 or 4 jutsus that you have, but not your red lightning. You can scare Kakashi with your flash step, though. A bit of Fuin jutsu will do as well. Oh, and make sure to use that great fireball. I want to see the look on Uchiha's face. Kurama replied after thinking for a bit, snickering in the end. Naruto ignored that suggestion, which means lightning jutsus are out. I can go all out in taijutsu. If I don't, Sasuke will be quick to call me out on that, and I don't need any of that. Besides, it was clever of Kakashi to purposely mislead us into fighting on an empty stomach, don't you think? He smirked. Sorry, let me stand up real quick. I gotta not fall asleep. It's 2 a.m., guys. Come on. I gotta not fall asleep. I gotta try to keep myself awake. All right, I'm back. Naruto mentally nodded, acknowledging Kurama's advice. Closing his eyes, he fell into a deep sleep. Tomorrow will be interesting. Again. Glancing out of the apartment he lived in, Sasuke was thankful for the silence the night provided. I will pass the exercise myself. I won't allow those two to hold me back. He thought. Frowning in thought, he absently tapped the window. The dope has been acting very differently as of late. His sudden show of skills in the graduation chest, his clear familiarity with seals. Could it be that he was hiding his skills? If so, then why? He's always craved attention, so why would he do something like hiding his skills and personality? Just who are you, Naruto? Sasuke had noticed that Naruto had been acting very different from his usual loud and idiotic personality in the graduation exam. He was calm and collected, more so than Sasuke was. He was understandably jealous of Naruto's newly discovered skills. Sasuke had been training his ass off since the massacre in order to become strong enough to kill him. Not many people had the ability to see underneath, not even Sasuke, but he could tell Naruto was hiding a lot of abilities. He would make Naruto tell him, because he deserved it more than anyone, least of all the dope. Naruto's eyes opened at 5 o'clock, according to his body's clock. This is the time which I'm supposed to be on the training field, he thought, as he got up to do his morning rituals. He was brushing his teeth. He began thinking about Kakashi's behavior yesterday. Our sensei was late by over 3 hours to meet us, and he didn't even look sorry about that. What's to say he won't do this today? He thought as he wiped his mouth. Going to the kitchen, he leisurely began preparing 4 omelets. As he cracked the eggs, he scoffed. Skip breakfast if we didn't want to throw up. He must be crazy if he thought that we would fight him on an empty stomach. He slid the omelets onto the plate and sat down on the dining table. A quick prayer later, he prays. Wow, man of the Lord. It's like I'm messing around. He was gorging them down. He couldn't think about strategies because he didn't know what the exercise would be. Finishing his meals, he walked over to the sink and washed his plate. Only Sakura would be stupid enough to skip breakfast, the most important meal of the day. The girl is so thin, a simple breeze would be enough to blow her away, he snickered. He went to his room and took out the seal on which he was working on. He sat down on the table, closed the scroll, and began preparing for the day. He dressed up, checked if he had all his supplies in his pouch and holster, tying his hitayate beneath his left shoulder. He nodded to himself, exited his apartment after ensuring his trap seals were in place. He walked at a comfortable pace to the training grounds, eating 2 bananas and a backpack holding his lunch. Reaching to the training grounds, he had to hold his laugh at what he saw. Both his teammates were there, probably from 5 o'clock, and were looking miserable, as well as miserable as Sasuke could be. Sakura was sitting on the ground, probably regretting not eating breakfast. As soon as she saw him, her face twisted into anger and she got up yelling, "Naruto, you're late!" Naruto looked around and sure enough, Kakashi wasn't there. Turning back to Sakura, he shrugged. "I don't know how I can be late if Sensei isn't here, Sakura." Sakura opened her mouth to yell more, but couldn't refute his statement. Her stomach decided to rumble at that moment, followed shortly by Sasuke's. Naruto raised a disbelieving eyebrow. They really are that stupid? He spoke with disbelief. You two didn't eat breakfast? The mentioned two shook their heads, but Sakura yelled again. Sensei told us not to eat breakfast, Baka. Why did you eat? Naruto glared at her, causing her to flinch. I'm standing right here, Sakura. There's no need to yell. And as for eating breakfast, he spoke as if speaking to 4-year-olds. It's the most important meal of the day, you know. Sakura's temper got the better of her as she moved to hit Naruto, but Naruto decided to teach her a lesson and caught her fist easily, his cold eyes freezing her in place. I suggest you stop doing that. Otherwise, I'll catch more than just your fist next time. His voice was a whisper, but it was as cold as ice, letting her know he was dead serious. He enforced his threat with a little key, making her sweat. Sasuke had been watching the both of them and had to admit that their interactions were amusing. However, the amusement ended when he heard Naruto's threat. He was surprised at how serious and deadly his teammate could sound. Naruto released Sakura's fist and walked up to him asking, Why didn't you eat breakfast, Emo? Sasuke glared at him, refusing to answer. Naruto shrugged and walked up to the post, setting his backpack on one of them. He then sat down, legs crossed and eyes closed, waiting for their sensei to show up. Turns out Kakashi was even more late than yesterday. He showed up at 10 minutes to 11. Damn, he was 6 hours late. Hi, fellows. Good morning. He was sounding even more lazy than yesterday, if that was possible. Sakura pointed at him accusingly. You're late. Kakashi's eyes curved up in a sort of smile. Well, you see, a black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way to avoid bad luck. Liar, Sakura shouted. Naruto's sweat dropped. Tardiness and a lame excuse. What's wrong with this guy? The silence became awkward and Kakashi coughed to break it. Well, let's begin. He placed his backpack down and pulled out an alarm clock, which he set for 12 o'clock. He put it on one of the posts. He then took out 2 tied bells. Your task is to take these bells from me before the alarm rings. Those who don't get the... That's an hour. What? Man. Those who don't get the bells get no lunch. Not only that, I will tie you to the post and eat lunch in front of you. Sakura's hungry, devastated face was exactly what he wanted. Sasuke tried to hide his hunger, but his stomach betrayed him. Only Naruto looked calm among them. Naruto, why did you eat breakfast when I told you not to? Sakura smiled, expecting Naruto to get punished, but Naruto simply replied, You only suggested not to, Sensei. You never said it as an order. Also, I'm not an idiot who forgets to eat the most important meal of the day. Sasuke and Sakura glared at him for implying that they were idiots, while Kakashi just That sounded like a villager. He is turning out to be very interesting. Maybe he would figure out the purpose of this test as well. He wondered. You only have to get 1 bell. Since there are only 2, one of you will get tied to the stump. The one who doesn't get the bell fails and goes back to the academy, he said, smirking at the horror on their faces. He continued, If you don't come at me with the intent to kill, you will fail. Any questions? Sakura spoke up, a confused look on her face. But Sensei, what if you get hurt? Naruto snorted at that. Kakashi was a freaking Jonin. They would be hard-pressed to just do harm on a hair of him. Kakashi almost laughed out loud, but managed to rein it in. Don't worry. I won't. All right, begin. The 3 of them jumped out of sight. Kakashi then tied the bells to him and took out his Icha book. They've hidden well. A shinobi should be able to hide from his enemies. Now, to wait for one of them to attack. Kakashi thought as he kept his eyes on the book. He's got to be kidding. I've only seen 4-man cells. There's no cell with only 2 genin and a jonin. There's a different purpose to this test, Naruto furiously thought. His eyes widened. He knows we won't get a single bell. We won't be able to get the bell single-handedly. He wants us to work together. That's the purpose of this test. He smirked in victory, but that smirk turned into a frown. Those 2 will never work with me. Maybe I can convince them after I get beat up from Sensei. With that, he released his seals and shunpoed from his spot. Kakashi looked up in surprise as Naruto seemed to shimmer before him. Landing in a crouch, what was that? He appeared really fast. His speed was too high for a genin. Rather stupid of you to come at me head on, isn't it? I don't see what's stupid about testing your opponent, Naruto replied, eyes narrowed. Kakashi had to hold back the memories from seeing those eyes, so much like his sensei. He was almost caught off guard when Naruto disappeared, reappearing in front of him, leg extended in a kick. That was easily low Jonin speed. How the hell does he move so fast? He frantically thought as he blocked the kick. He wins. He hits hard as well. Kakashi was forced to put away his book as Naruto's movements were too fast, but Kakashi wasn't a Jonin for nothing. For real. He easily began countering Naruto's attacks, mentally admiring his fighting style. His movements were fast, not giving the opposition even enough time to think. The strength in his attacks might even reach mid-tuning level. Not many openings to exploit, too. His attacks are also quite unorthodox. Very interesting style. Like he almost seems to know where the attacks are coming from. He applauded mentally as he ducked and blocked a 3 roundhouse kick combo that he knew wasn't a part of any style he knew, and he knew a lot of them. You're good, kid, but not good enough. He grunted as he used the momentum of the spin kick coming towards his face. He caught Naruto by the ankle and threw him into the pond. He missed Naruto's smirk as he entered the water. He threw me into water. Perfect. Naruto thought as he made a half ram seal with his left hand and slowly released his breath. The air surrounded his body like a sort of bubble. He floated up until he was just underneath the surface. He then threw shuriken at the Jonin. Kakashi didn't even need to look to catch them, but he was unprepared for what came next. Suiton. Suikasari no Jutsu. Water style, water chain jutsu. Yeah, you like that. Suiton, Suikasari no Jutsu. You like that, don't you? You like that pronunciation, you feel me? Nah, I'm messing around. 5 chains of water erupted from the water and wrapped around him with surprising speed. Requiring only 1 seal due to his high water affinity, this jutsu was very easy to use. Suiton ninjutsu, how does he know that? Shock filled his whole being. Naruto jumped out, spinning once midair to increase the momentum behind his punch, which only connected with a log. Kiwarimi, huh? Kakashi walked out from behind a tree 300 feet away, eyes smiling. Nice try. You are definitely Chunin material, Naruto, but you will have to try harder to get the bell. Naruto made 3 hand seals. Futon, Topa, wind style breakthrough. A strong futon. Yeah, I guess. A strong gust of wind blew towards Kakashi, who simply leapt to the side to avoid it. Wind manipulation? How does Naruto know all these jutsus? A strong jutsu, but useless if I can avoid it, Kakashi rebuked. His eyebrow rose up in confusion when Naruto threw a single kunai at him. Is that supposed to hit me? He lazily asked as he just tilted his head to avoid it. He was not prepared for Naruto to appear behind him, replacing himself with the thrown kunai. Kakashi turned around, but it was too late. What? Naruto slashed at the bells with a kunai in his right hand, eyes widening in surprise when one of them separated. Now's the chance. He allowed his body to spin clockwise, his left hand grabbing the separate bell and right foot kicking out to Kakashi. He blocked it with his hands. But Naruto simply used the force of the kick to jump back under the tree, using Shunpo to retreat into the woods. Sakura and Sasuke were shell-shocked. They were not expecting Naruto's taijutsu to be this good. He was matching their sensei strike for strike, even adding his own strikes. The speed of his movements were something not even Sasuke could match. His form of movement was also noticed by the duo, inducing jaw-dropping shock. The show of ninjutsu and snatch of a bell was the last straw for Sasuke. How does the dope know a style like that? How did he achieve that level of speed? How does he know those jutsus? I should be the one to have them, not him. Yo, let me be real with you, alright? Sasuke was not a nice guy, right? Sasuke was, he was a mean guy, and he definitely thought that he should be the strongest. But when in the show was he ever this bad? You feel me? Like, when was he this bad? Maybe after Orochimaru bit his neck, like, at that point when he, saw Itachi didn't care about his fight with him. He just wanted to capture the Nine Tails, you feel me? In the hotel with Jiraiya. You know what I'm talking about? But what I'm saying is, other than that time, when was he ever I need this power for myself? No, obviously he was power hungry, but to a certain extent, he kind of wanted to earn it, but I don't know, bro. I guess maybe not, because then he went to Orochimaru, but you get what I'm saying? This is a little excessive, but I digress. We're just going to keep it going, you feel me? I should be the one to have those, not him, he raged in his mind, fist clenched. Sakura had still not recovered from the shock that was Naruto. Naruto was never this good at the academy. How did he manage to get a bell? It It was then her fangirlish ways took over. If Naruto can get a bell, then Sasuke can definitely do it. Not once did she think about herself. Yeah, because she not smart. Even though she's supposed to be smart. All right, bro. I'm done ranting. I got to get this done quick, bro. I'm tired. Kakashi stood in shock over what happened. An academy graduate who was said to be the dead last of his class not only managed to catch him off guard, but also managed to get a bell. Not to mention that said dead last knew Futon and Suiton ninjutsu. High tuning level taijutsu with low jonin level speeds. He, Hatake Kakashi, copy ninja, caught off guard by a simple kawarimi. Naruto himself was shocked at his success. He didn't expect to get a bell this way. Then again, Kakashi most probably, what is that? Probably wouldn't expect an academy graduate to pull off a sealless kawarimi. That was nothing more than a stroke of luck. In a straight fight, I would be dead already. But since when do shinobi fight fair, he thought. The excitement slowly leaving him, allowing cognitive thoughts to take place. I should probably seek out Sasuke and Sakura, maybe convince them to work together. But my plan was to get beat up, not to get a bell. Sasuke would never listen to me now, which by extension includes Sakura. Damn it, he cursed. Never hurts to try. The worst that will happen is that you will fail to convince them, Kurama encouraged. Oh. I thought that was an inner thought from Naruto. Naruto thought about it a bit and reluctantly agreed with him. He easily sensed the chakra of the two and cursed when he felt that Sasuke was furious by the agitation of his chakra. He quickly made his way towards him, hoping he wouldn't be too late. He was too late. Sasuke was already furious at Naruto's achievement, and when Naruto tried to convince him, he harshly shot his proposal to work together down and went to confront Kakashi alone. Long story short, he got his ass handed to him and got buried head deep into the ground. On the bright side, Naruto successfully copied the Donton Jutsu Kakashi used to bury Sasuke. He sensed Kakashi casting a genjutsu on Sakura, who easily succumbed to it. He sent 20 shadow clones to fight Kakashi and defend Sakura, but the time was already up. Sakura hung her head in shame as she was the one tied to the post, while Naruto and Sasuke sat beside her. Sasuke was angrily glaring at Naruto, who was watching the sensei. Kakashi looked at the kid, shaking his head in disappointment. Only Naruto managed to get a bell. But that doesn't mean you passed, Naruto. You all failed to grasp the real purpose of this test. Teamwork. The response came from Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him in anger and shame. Naruto tried to convince him to work together, and they didn't listen to him, because who did? Kakashi raised an eyebrow. A little late to realize, don't you think? Naruto gestured towards his teammates. They knew it. You can ask them that I tried to convince them to work together, but I already knew from the start that I would be shot down. Kakashi thought he figured it out and even tried to execute it, but he knew he would be shot down. Sorry, Naruto, but this group fails. Naruto's voice interrupted. Besides, teamwork is something that is established in the long run, Sensei. You can't expect it out of people who never work together. Kakashi nodded. Point. But it is also born out of necessity, which was this case. Unfortunately, you all failed to act on it. Oh, we're towards the end. Let's go. Silence reigned for a while as Kakashi let them think about it. Then he spoke. I'll give you all one more chance after an hour. If you fail even then, quit being shinobi. He harshly told them, the world of shinobi is not a playground for children. Be ready, and no one feeds Sakura lunch. We all know what's going to happen, but I'm going to have to read it anyways. Alright, bet. Naruto shook his head and was about to dig in when he suddenly felt a surge of chakra. Kakashi appeared before him, furious as hell. Naruto Sensei said, it's fine. I don't sense him anyways. Sasuke said as to offer Sakura his lunch. Oh, I skipped a freaking thing. Basically, he was hiding behind a tree, and they offered Sakura lunch. That's what I skipped, on accident. Naruto shook his head and was about to dig in when he felt a sudden surge of chakra. Kakashi appeared in front of them, furious as hell. I told you not to feed her. Are you ready to face the consequences? The clouds suddenly seemed to gather, and sounds of thunder could be heard. Sasuke spoke up, surprising Naruto. We are a team, aren't we? We'll face the consequences together. Is that your choice? Kakashi asked, still radiating in fury. The group nodded as one resolution, and determination in their eyes. Like a switch, Kakashi's personality changed. You pass. He eye smiled at them. Naruto stayed wary. Is that it? I smiled, disappearing. Kakashi said in a serious tone, Yeah, I wanted to be sure you three would act as one. My best friend always used to say, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. I wanted you all to accept each other as comrades. This is actually the first group I've passed. The previous ones were blockheads who couldn't get it. He gave them an eye smile and a thumbs up. Team 7 will start missions from tomorrow. Boom! That is the end of Chapter 7 of Return of the Flash on Wattpad, otherwise known as what I'm titling it. What if Minato was like, whoa. What if Naruto was like Minato Part 7? I'm sorry if at the end I got a little lazy and a little sloppy, but man, this was a long recording session. I mean, let's just look at the time. Wow, 1 hour recording session. And holy, I did that at 2 in the morning. I'm freaking tired. It is 2:16 right now, and I'm exhausted. And I got school tomorrow. I gotta wake up in like 5 hours. No use complaining because I'm glad I did this anyways. It was worthwhile, and I'm looking forward to hopefully a positive reaction to this video. So if you would leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I forgot to do this for the last couple of videos, but the little secret message at the end is sea cucumber. If you know what that's from, let me know. It'll be hilarious. And we can have a conversation in the comment section below. But with that, it's your boy, the Anime Ambu here. And I'm out. Deuces.